Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. In the last episode, we managed to get at least the starting framework of a hydrogen refueling station online. We still need to expand its power capacity a bunch in order to get enough H2O2 generators online, but that can come in the future. For now, we actually have a different problem. We have a lot of salvage, and I'm actually heading out to another target that I spotted. It should be just ahead of me. It's difficult to see with these lighting settings, but you can just barely see it here on the camera. There's something there. So we are heading towards that target. Now, a lot of salvage is good, but it's a problem when I have so much salvage that it becomes tedious in order to do it all by hand. So today, I think we need to build another small ship. And the small ship needs to be large size conveyors so that we can rip up something, salvage all of its goodies, and bring it on back to our base. And what do we have here? Oh my god. Is this free hydrogen? Oh my god. Oh god, this is free hydrogen. This could solve another one of my major issues, which is I have no power right now. Oh. Okay, of course access denied, but let me just hack this thing. And also I've got hostile takeovers on right now, so I can see it wants me to hack this. Or at least let's just get rid of it completely. And then what's next? Oh, I'll just get rid of your timers. I don't like the beeping timers, scare me, especially when they're on enemy grids. And I think we just take it over. It was a guppy? Oh, this is a remnants of a guppy. Ooh. Well, this is really good salvage. We got an almost full battery. An absolutely full battery. We've got what are these? Couple hydrogen tanks? Oh my god, full hydrogen tanks. I gotta drain these. I gotta take these home and drain them. And then a few solar panels, which will do good to just get ripped up and added to my solar tower. Yeah, man. Salvage is awesome. Let's grab onto this thing and start hauling its butt home. Which is going to be an absolute annoyance. But we can get it done. Firefly. No. This guppy is more important than this. Let's bring ourselves down here and latch on. Come on. Come on, my little mag plates. Oh, I wonder, is this thing considered a station? Info? Yeah, I have to convert it to ship. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, this is going to be very, very hard to get home. Asteroid base is over there. It's on the far side of an asteroid. Or is that my asteroid? I don't know. I'm going to aim over here because I'm afraid. We're going to put our gyro override on. And we're going to thrust. And oh god, we have to pull up so hard. But we are coasting now at 20 meters a second. The travel home will take a little while here, but it's totally going to be worth it if I can get all these resources back. Now, when we get these back, these could be essentially the lifeline that I've been needing right now. This amount of fuel, 2 large tanks full. Oh man, I could run an engine for a very long time on these, as I actually have been really low on power. Like, I have been expanding my solar towers, but the asteroid base is essentially dry in terms of electricity. Its 2 batteries are completely dead. It's the towers keeping things online and slowly recharging them, but as long as I keep up with the refining and assembling, I literally cannot keep the Spectre here charged. I'd have to shut down the refining and assembling and just like let it sit for a couple of hours, which is not ideal. So if I can get this stuff plugged in and merge blocked essentially to the base, and then put an engine on it, I should be able to get at least use some of this hydrogen for power. I mean, yes, in the future I'm eventually going to want full tanks on my ship, but in the meantime, we could use some of it. But we are coming on in here, doing a little bit of a braking maneuver. We don't want to come in too hot and absolutely destroy ourselves. And we'll go to the left side here, where the rest of our salvage is, and pull on up towards the base. What I think I'm going to do is maneuver it just so, because it actually has, it's hard to see with the camera, but let me just grab my spectator camera, because that's more controllable. It actually has a connector on the front. So I wonder if I have that connector right now, I could just use that thing. Or I could just put a connector here, and I could plug this thing in and just do it that way, because this is all conveyored up. Why salvage this or do anything funky with it? Let's just connect this thing. So, to get that to work, we're going to have to take this off. And then, now that that's gone, we can grab a conveyor and a connector. Change back to that. And we should get both this stuff built up. Come on, withdraw motors. Give me my motors. Alright, that's built. And now we just need to maneuver this bad boy into position. This is like, honestly, one of the best salvage finds in any of my playthroughs. Like, I can't think of a more timely salvage than this thing right now. It's just a wad of fuel and power right when I needed it the most. As we slowly maneuver it in. Alright, let's get it forward all the way it needs to first. And then as we thrust downwards, we need to pitch downwards as well. And get on in close here. Come on, magnetism. Grab me. Grab it. Okay, turn our dampeners off. And let the magnetism just rest for a moment. And we can rotate it so it aligns to our grid. And let the magnetism pull it into position. And then... where's my lock? Switch lock. Hey, baby! Yes! Okay. Now I should be able to disconnect. And we'll leave that little module there plugged into the side of our dropship. And I can come over to the Spectre's normal dock. And I should be able to actually, for the first time in this entire playthrough, dock and properly charge. And my batteries are actually charging. Fully recharged in 13 minutes. Batteries depleted in 17. Yes, that new battery. We're ripping all of its charge out of it, but that is okay because it's going to be put to good use in the Spectre. All right. Now, I think the only other thing I want to do here is we're going to do a single engine on this thing. And going to use some of this hydrogen up. Now, not all of it, just some of it. But it will be nice to have this hydrogen going. Let's see. Let's just put it along here. Get rid of this little greebly bits and slap that hydro. It's that end of it, so it's like that. Yeah, that'll work. And like always, I don't want to do it myself, so I'll put a welder down to build it for me. And it kicks to life. Excellent. So, with this running, my H2O2 generators we're going to turn off for the moment, because I don't want them fighting against this engine and just wasting power. The engine is producing me 5 megawatts. It's using 100 liters. Out of my tanks, which I have these two here, we have a week of power from there. We are using a little bit from these tanks. That's okay. What we can also do is we can stockpile. And we can pull out of these tanks to get into my main ship. Still leave the engine over here. I want it a little bit farther away from me so I don't have to listen to its noise while I'm working. But just leave it there. Stockpile all the way down. It's good. We just turn the stockpile off. And we can turn these two tanks off. And now no new hydrogen will go into them. We successfully drained this thing. And we have, looks like, 3 days of power. Very nice. Engine. My batteries are, I'm going to set this one on here to only discharge. The battery that's on this grid. And the batteries on the other grid are just pulling in the power. Wonderful. I couldn't be happier. We managed to figure out one of my main issues, which was fuel. And so now we have fuel. Crisis averted. But now the main thing I want to get done this episode is we have a bunch of this salvage here. And we need a fast way to break it down so that I'm not mindlessly grinding it away with a single chevron grinder. So therefore, we're going to lay out and plan a small grid ship. It's going to be ions, because that's all we really have access to. Thankfully, we do have a good amount of thruster components from our salvage. So we're able to go straight into ions without having to even worry about making a little hydrogen ship, which will be a lot easier to design rather than having a bunch of piping and everything we need to do. So we'll just grab some steel plate, interior plate. Should be everything we need to set up the design. And thankfully, we're in space, so which means we can literally start building anywhere. And that anywhere for me is going to be right here. We're going to start off with a cockpit. Now, which cockpit? We got the fighter, the industrial. I think industrial will probably do it. Cab, because we got cab on the Spectre, but industrial, because it's an industrial ship, right? We just have to. It just seems logical. And we'll just hold still and click. And now we have a floating cockpit. Off of this, we're going to need an oxygen tank so that we can stockpile some oxygen. While we're using it on the ship, we don't die. And it'll just go nicely into the two back ports there of the tank. We're also going to need some conveyor junctioning. Now, It's going to be slightly annoying. Thankfully, what I would normally want to do is have my conveyor junctions set up in a way that I could have a bottom connector like this, but it would be in the middle of the center of mass of the ship. But if you do that, you have to have it with a large connection on the bottom, but that means your front and back are going to be small connections. And so that, or they have to be the sides and these small connections, but then you need large connections in order to pipe materials through, so it gets annoying. So what we can do is we can have large connections to the side here, which is fine. And then through that, we'll be able to pipe off and go to welders and such. But then also, we can go back this way, and we can do this like this way. Yeah, this way. And so that gives me a nice bottom connection where I can put a connector. The reason why we're be able to put the connector further back than I would really want would be because we're in space. We don't have to worry about center of gravity, because we don't have to worry about things getting pulled and falling over and such in space. We should get this one built up. I want to see what the orientation of these ones are again. I just wish there was a connector, like a conveyor, that had large ports all the way down and all the way around. It would make life a lot easier. But, oh well, we don't. I'll just dump some resources into these things. Okay, I'd whacked my head into it and it started floating and started rotating. And then it stopped? Or is this thing just now just going to rotate away and float off into the distance? Oh, I'll have to restart this. Yeah, I'll have to I should connect this to the ground. What am I doing? Landing gear! Alright, so now that these are in position, we can put a connector here. And we can start to think about our conveyage systems. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that my ion thrusters were built into it. We're going to do warfare thrusters because I think they look the best. And for this, I'm thinking that we tuck the warfare thrusters right in and go, well, I want a lot of thrust. I want this to be a ship that I can go and I can pick up some salvage with a landing gear or something, and I can haul it. I can pull stuff with this ship. And also, this could be fairly heavy, full of components. So I want something that can have some good thrust. So I'm thinking 4 larges like this, facing backwards. Combining that with a, we can put a medium cargo on each side. Then off of that, we can put a T? Do we have T's? No, they don't have T's here. We could just put a junction. Junction, and then a tube, and then a grinder. Something like that. Maybe this is starting to become too wide. Let's see what this thing looks like. A little bit skinnier. Oh. And also, I wanted to show this off, because we saw it on the live stream that I did. But we've got the shadow for the guppy salvage. My first bit of salvage. The shadow crosses my asteroid perfectly. So I like to term this, it's guppy o'clock. Because the shadow is here. Who needs a sundial when you've got that kind of stuff going on? Okay. I think that might be a little bit too tight. I think maybe we need to... If we just do it this way, so it's just 2 blocks that way, then what we can do is like a couple frames out to a junction to a tube to a grinder. That's starting to look a little bit nicer, not too fat. Now we can think about cargo space on this thing. We could... Ooh, I can do it this way. I could put a cargo here and here. And it would be pretty much aligned with the center of the ship this way, right? Because I still need to go back further and put batteries in this thing. Because I could slot in batteries right there. Oh, that looks perfect. It's a perfect spot to slot in some bats. Right beside all of the cargo weight there. And then try to think about where I can put some downwards thrust. I don't need much. This thing is only going to be a spacefaring craft. But I could move these. I don't need my backwards thrust to be right there. I can also put some thrust, small thrust, like that. So I could do downwards, downwards. I could even try to have this thing be capable, if need be, to land on a planet. So I can do 4 downwards thrusters, which should give it plenty of lift. Even tempted to extend this thing back further. Why not? Let's make this a nice chonky small grid here. If I do that, I can put some more batteries. Give me up to 4, which is a very nice number. And then some more downwards. And then I can do some backwards. And some side-to-side thrust. Which, oh, that's going to be annoying. I'll have to do small thrust. Side-to-side. Thinking about realistic thrust, this is going to get me. Because if I just put the thrust back here, I'm just going to start spinning whenever I try to thrust anywhere. So I can do like 1, 2, 3. And on this side... 1, 2, 3, and then back here on this thruster. And then that'll be relatively balanced. Although it'll be all on the bottom. So I'll tend to twist slightly as I thrust side to side. I'll have to balance it out. And then we can do some more cargo. And more cargo. Why not? Just fill up the cargo. So this thing can salvage a whole bunch of stuff and then head home. And then some braking thrust of some kind. Which doesn't seem to want to fit in there. Somewhere. We can get braking thrust on the ceiling here. And just fill up these spaces with small thrusters. And that'll do well enough. Actually, yeah, I think just 12 small thrusters. This, I can put an antenna there or something like that. As might be a decent ship. Throw a few gyros on it and it could work. It's got a fair amount of thrust in every direction, so it should be able to handle itself. But let's get this thing at least flyable, a thruster in every direction, and then we'll put a welder on one of these things and we'll fly it over there and then rub against a welder until it's built up. Well, this thing is at least able to fly. It may not be pretty, but it can maneuver. And that's all that really matters at this point. So, trying to think of how I want to organize this a bit better here. I'm wondering if I've got batteries here. I wonder if I make those downwards thrusters. Because I've got this one stuck up like this. I'm wondering if I even need it. Or maybe I just do it with this medium cargo. I take that out and I put a thruster there pointing upwards. Call it good. Bury that thruster in a little bit. Let's see what it looks like from the bottom. Align it with these thrusters down here. Just like so. And then I have one large thruster pointing downwards. I mean, it pitches me up when I try to thrust downwards. But I'll have to adjust it by putting thrust in other locations. I think for now, this is going to be good enough. We just need to get the rest of this thing built up so I can use the rest of these thrusters, because holy crap, I can't even stop. I only got that one thruster in the front. Alright, let's get a welder on this thing so I can go and nuzzle up to it. Go a few blocks out to make this a little less scary. And get this thing built. Alright. Welder online. Turn it on. And let's go rub my ship up against it. This is how you build ships. You let the base do it for you. Yeah, what do you about that? A couple minutes later, I got a ship fully built. See, if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. You don't screw around and do that yourself. You let the you let the computer do it. That's for sure. But oh God, my upwards thrust is ridiculous. It's also not that stable. I gotta put some more gyros in this thing. Let me take this gyro down. Actually, no, I need this gyro. I need this gyro to maneuver. Let me go get some steel plate. And we need to set up another gyros. And I'm thinking we can just put some more in here. Off of this. And that should give me plenty of gyro power. So, let's tuck ourselves in. Oop. Bonked it. Although it repaired the damage. Gyro's complete. Excellent. Okay. So now we can take this gyro off. Our temp gyro. And that's essentially it. I mean, really? Backwards, I'm starting to tip up slightly. Forwards is the same. Just gotta fight it a little bit. Side to side, you can see I'm wiggling a little bit, but I can fight that. I got enough gyro power to fight it. Up, I tip down slightly. Oh god, no, I tip up slightly. Oh, I'm tipping up because of my downwards thrust. My downwards thrust needs balance. Okay. So that means I need some here. Alright. Oh, it's not too bad anymore. Yeah, adding those 3 thrusters in there kind of balanced it out. And good. All built up. So realistically, what we can do, we can turn that off. We can unplug this thing. And we can go and plug it over on this thing. Still unnamed dropship. And this is where the Spectre can just sit for now. Good ship. Just stay there. And then our grinder ship can use this port to deposit its ill-gotten gains from its bottom connector. So now I can head on over and sawzall my way through this stuff. Oh my god. So nice. Nice. Oh, such easy salvage. And then I can look here. I can see all my cargo containers filling up with all sorts of great resources. And this is easily fightable. I can do this thing. We'll also take one of our gyros here and put the override on off. And if I override, yeah, we're good. If you make your ships just about balanced and then you have a gyro and override, it works. All right. This amount of salvage is going to be real useful. But now I can go on some serious resource hunts. Because I can go and grab these grids and I don't even need to haul them home. I can just send this ship out, grind up the grid, bring it back, deposit it. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And just get ridiculous quantities of resources. Although this is starting to float away. And that's not a good thing. I did not design you to float away. So I'll have to make sure that I don't kick these too far. Give them a little bump back this way. There we go. Ah, the window. Okay, I got it. It's just floating away. And then, when I'm done, as this thing is ever so slowly drifting, we'll, I'll grab that with the Spectre and bring it back in a minute. We can head on over, and we can switch lock on our connector. And should be able to watch our cargo here getting slurped out. Oh, look at all those resources just being deposited into the vase. Hell yeah! Oh, that's awesome. Although I'm second guessing my cockpit design. I think we can change this cockpit up to a normal cockpit. I think it might look better on this thing. This is just hanging down a little too low for me. We do need now some small conveyors to fit this in, so we can bump that up. And I should grab those before they float away. Bada-bum, bada-bum. Come back here. Good grids. Yeah, a regular cockpit aligns a bit better with this thing. We'll do it that way. Very, very good. Same thing we'll do in here. We've got connector grinder. Switch lock on that. And our block tools. And I think we need to go and make sure that thing doesn't float away. So, I think we need to mount that thing to the ground. We're going to need to put a landing gear on it. Let's go and slap a landing gear on here. And then we'll grab the Spectre, because it's ready and able to do this right now. We can... Oh, it looks like it's multiple chunks. Okay. Might have to do this multiple times, but that's alright. We'll just grab it here. Take this piece away. Come on. I need my spectator camera. I can't see what I'm doing. We're coming down. A little bit of scraping. It's okay. This thing should just catch. Good job. Alright. I can detach. That thing is solid now. It's not going anywhere. Where's this other piece? Locked. Good Spectre. There we go. They are secure. Wonderful. And now we can just go to town, grinding them up. And we'll go grinder batteries. And I want to put that group on here and recharge on off. So I can see I have 30%. Okay. Which is not bad. It's basically just the beginning charge you get whenever you make a battery. But it should be more than enough for this thing to grind its way through some of these wrecks. And while I could sit here all day grinding away at stuff and actually quite enjoying myself, there is another aspect of this ship that we need to use. And that is the fact that we can change out these grinders for welders and use them to build on our ships here. And so We can get ourselves plugged back in. And that will start draining all the materials out. We can very quickly take off our grinders. Grab some welders. And weld them up. And just in a matter of a few seconds, we swapped out our ship here to a welding ship. And so, I think maybe where I was putting the grinder thing should just be my utility ship. This is not grinder batteries, it's utility ship batteries. And therefore, I gotta change that on the hotbar here. But that is fine. Get rid of the grinders. We can add the welders back in a moment here. And what we can do is to get our hydrogen base set up faster. We can bring this bad boy down here. Park it up nearby the cargo. Get out solar panels. Clear off the bar of pretty much anything else. Well, first off, we'll just grab a little bit of steel plate just because we can, although I don't need the motors for scaffolding and such. And then solar, colorable ones. And do I not have any solar? I don't have any solar cells. What the hell? Ah, it's probably because I've just like got 0 iron or something. Assembler, what you doing? Assembler, do you not have... Oh, you don't have nickel. Ugh, man. I need every single resource, it seems. So I can't build anything because I don't have nickel. Alright, good to know. I guess we will be building some solar panels on another day, as it is time to go and get nickel. But that is also a fun thing to do. Go and plug this bad boy back in. Oh, come on, baby. There we go. It's a derpy looking ship, but it functions. The Spectre's just so much cuter. Nickel! Where are you, Nickel? 2 kilometers away. Let's go. What's with me heading off on another ore trip? That's probably going to be the end of this episode. We got some salvage. We actually got probably the luckiest salvage I've ever gotten in any of my playthroughs with exactly what we needed. We needed power and hydrogen at that moment, and we got both. The Spectre here is now at 98%, almost fully recharged. Essentially perfect. And we've got ourselves a utility ship that we can use to do a lot of work in getting our base online as fast as possible. But we just need a lot more resources. So maybe what we should do in the next episode is some of these outlying resource deposits. Maybe we can take that utility ship and Frankenstein it into a mining ship as well. Wouldn't be that hard to just throw on some conveyor connectors, conveyor converters on the front to get to small grid and then go mining. Bring back a large chunk of resources with all of its medium cargo containers. But that'll be for the next time. For now, I'm just going to do a few runs with the Spectre, get some resources, and hopefully build up some more solar panels. That's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and good hunting out there, fellow space engineers.